Sleep on the couch this week. My ex needs somewhere to stay, and I don't want him uncomfortable, she said like it was normal. I said, okay. Took my pillow and left the apartment instead. I signed a lease on a new place the next day. When she texted after he left, saying, "You can come back to bed now," I replied, "I got a better one," and blocked her. I, 28, male, am staring at 17 unread messages from a blocked number. I know exactly who it is. My ex-girlfriend, Clara, 27. The same woman who, 2 weeks ago, told me to sleep on the couch for a week because her ex-boyfriend needed somewhere to stay and she didn't want him uncomfortable. She said it like it was the most normal request in the world. Like I was supposed to just nod, grab my pillow, and camp out in my own living room while another man slept in our bed. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I didn't even ask questions. I just said, okay, picked up my pillow, and walked out of the apartment. Not to the couch. Out the front door. The next morning, I signed a lease on a new place. 1 week later, she texted me, "You can come back to bed now." I replied, "I got a better one." Then I blocked her. That was 3 days ago. The text started an hour later. 17 so far. I haven't read a single one. I don't need to. I already know what they say. Confusion, anger, justification, maybe even threats. None of it matters. I'm sitting in my new apartment right now, drinking coffee in sunlight that actually reaches the kitchen table. The bed in the next room is mine. The lease has only my name on it. And Clara is exactly where I left her. Blocked. Ignored. Irrelevant. But to understand how we got here, you need to know who Clara was before she asked me to sleep on the couch. Clara and I had been together for 2 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party. She was funny, smart, easy to talk to. Within 6 months, we were discussing moving in together. Within 8, we signed a joint lease on a 1-bedroom apartment in the city. Rent was $1,800 a month. We split it 50-50. I paid my half on time, every time. So did she at first. The apartment was small but comfortable. Hardwood floors, a decent-sized kitchen, 1 bedroom with a window that faced a brick wall. It wasn't much, but it was ours. Or at least, I thought it was. The problem started slowly. Little things I ignored because I didn't want to seem insecure or controlling. Clara's ex-boyfriend, Ryan, 29, was still in her life. Not as a distant memory, as a constant presence. He'd call her at midnight. She'd step into the hallway to take the call, voice low, laughing at something he said. When I asked who it was, she'd wave it off. Just Ryan. He's having a rough night. She'd cancel plans with me to help him move furniture, or talk him through a breakup with some other girl, or meet him for coffee because he needed advice. I didn't complain. I figured she was just being a good friend. That's what she called it. Friendship. But there were signs I should have caught earlier. Once, I saw Ryan's contact name in her phone. It still said love, with a heart emoji next to it. When I pointed it out, Clara laughed. That's from years ago. I just haven't changed it. Another time, she left dinner with my parents early because Ryan needed help fixing his car. My mom asked if everything was okay. I said yes. I lied. Ryan's birthday came around in March. Clara bought him a gift. A watch. Not a cheap one. She spent $200 on it. When I asked why, she shrugged. He's important to me. You know that. I worked in IT. I kept regular hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I came home to her every night. I thought that mattered. I thought consistency was enough. I thought if I just stayed calm, stayed present, stayed supportive, she'd eventually see that I was the one who showed up. I was wrong. The apartment lease was technically in both our names, but Clara handled all the communication with the landlord, a man named Mr. Patel. I just paid my half and trusted her to manage the rest. I didn't ask questions. I didn't check the emails. I assumed we were equal partners in this. Looking back, I realized I was already sleeping on the couch. I just didn't know it yet. Then, 2 weeks ago, Ryan called again. But this time, Clara didn't just cancel plans. She rewrote the rules of the apartment. It started on a Tuesday evening. I was sitting on the couch, scrolling through my phone, when Clara walked into the living room. She had her phone pressed to her ear, nodding along to whatever Ryan was saying on the other end. "Yeah, of course," she said. "No problem. I'll figure it out." She hung up and turned to me, smiling like she'd just solved a puzzle. "Ryan needs a place to crash for a week," she said. Her tone was casual, light, like she was telling me we were out of milk. I looked up from my phone. "Here." "Yeah." His lease fell through. Some issue with the landlord. He needs somewhere to stay while he finds a new place. I blinked. In our one-bedroom apartment. Yeah, it's just a week. Maybe less. He'll take the bed. You can sleep on the couch. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline, waiting for her to laugh and say she was joking. She didn't. I don't want him uncomfortable, she continued, like she was explaining why the sky was blue. You understand, right? My chest tightened. Not anger. Not yet. Just clarity. This wasn't the first time Ryan had come first, but it was the first time Clara expected me to physically move out of my own bed for the guy. When's he coming? I asked. My voice was calm. Flat. Tomorrow night. Around 7. I'm going to make dinner for all of us. I nodded slowly. Okay. Clara's face relaxed. She smiled, relieved. Thanks for being cool about this. I knew you'd understand. She walked back to the kitchen, already texting Ryan, probably confirming the arrangement. I sat there on the couch, phone in hand, staring at the TV without seeing it. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was angry. Not because I was planning some big confrontation. I couldn't sleep because, for the first time in 2 years, I saw the relationship clearly. Clara didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as someone who'd always say yes. Someone who'd move to the couch without complaint. Someone who'd wait patiently while she prioritized another man. And she was right. Up until that moment, that's exactly who I'd been. But not anymore. I didn't sleep that night. But not because I was angry. Because I was already packing. I woke up early the next morning. Clara was still asleep, curled up on her side of the bed, one arm tucked under the pillow. I got up quietly, made coffee, and sat at the kitchen table with my laptop. By 9 a.m., I'd found 3 available apartments within my budget. All studios. All within a 15-minute commute to my office. I called the first landlord and scheduled a viewing for 3 p.m. Then I called the second and booked another viewing for 4 p.m. Clara woke up at 10:15. She shuffled into the kitchen, rubbing her eyes, and poured herself a cup of coffee. Morning, she said, kissing me on the cheek. Morning. She leaned against the counter, sipping her coffee. Ryan'll be here around 7 tonight. I'm thinking pasta for dinner. Sound good? I nodded. Sounds good. She smiled. Thanks again for being flexible. I know it's a little weird, but it's just a week. It's fine, I said. She left for work at 10:30, grabbing her purse and keys on the way out. See you tonight, she called from the door. See you. The moment the door closed, I stood up and started packing. I didn't take everything, just the essentials. Clothes, laptop, chargers, toothbrush, documents. I left the furniture, the kitchen stuff, the framed photos on the wall. I didn't care about any of it. By 2 p.m., I had 2 duffel bags and a backpack sitting by the front door. I viewed the first apartment at 3 p.m. It was a small studio on the 3rd floor of an older building. 1 room, a kitchenette in the corner, a bathroom the size of a closet. But it had a window with actual sunlight. And it was $1,200 a month. Cheaper than splitting rent with Clara. The landlord, an older man named Mr. Hassan, walked me through the unit. He pointed out the water pressure, the heating system, the lack of a dishwasher. When can you move in? He asked. Tomorrow, I said. He raised an eyebrow. Tomorrow. Yes. I'll pay first month, last month, and deposit today. Cash. Mr. Hassan looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded. You got yourself a deal. We went back to his office. I signed the lease at 4:17 p.m. I took a photo of the signed document with my phone, the timestamp visible in the corner. April 18th, 2024, for 17 p.m. By 5 p.m., I was back at the old apartment. I grabbed my pillow from the bed, my 2 duffel bags, and my backpack. I stood in the kitchen for a moment, looking around. 2 years of my life in this space. 2 years of thinking I mattered. I pulled my apartment key off my keyring and left it on the kitchen counter. Then I walked out. Clara texted me at 6:30 p.m., picking up groceries. Be home soon. I was already at my new studio, unloading my bags onto the floor. I looked at her text for a moment, then turned my phone face down and kept unpacking. I didn't block her yet. I wanted to see how long it would take her to notice. Update 1: Clara didn't notice I was gone until 8:30 that night. Her first text came at 8:47 p.m. Where are you? I was sitting on the floor of my new studio, assembling a cheap lamp I'd bought from a hardware store on the way over. I stared at the message for a full minute. Then I typed back. Out. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, out where? Ryan's here. Dinner's ready. I set my phone down and went back to the lamp. She texted again at 9:15. Are you coming back tonight? I didn't respond. At 10:03, she called. I let it ring. She called again at 10:45. I let it ring again. By midnight, she'd sent 6 more texts. This isn't funny. Where are you? Did something happen? Can you at least tell me you're okay? I'm worried. Please answer. I turned my phone on silent and went to bed. The mattress was a cheap twin-size thing I'd found on Facebook Marketplace for $80. It was lumpy and smelled faintly of someone else's laundry detergent. But it was mine, and I slept better that night than I had in months. Over the next week, Clara's texts followed a predictable pattern. Day 1, Thursday confusion. Are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Can we talk about this? Day 2, Friday annoyance. This is childish. You're being dramatic. Ryan leaves in a few days. Just come home. Day 3, Saturday justification. Ryan needed help. You know that. I didn't think it was a big deal. You said you were fine with it. Day 4, Sunday bargaining. I miss you. Come home. We can talk. I'll make your favorite dinner. I replied exactly twice during that week. Day 2, I'm fine. Day 5, busy. Both times, I kept it short. No emotion. No explanation. Just enough to let her know I was alive. By day 6, her tone shifted again. Ryan's leaving tomorrow. You can come back. I didn't respond. Day 7 arrived. Wednesday, April 25th. I was sitting in my new apartment, drinking coffee and reading an article on my laptop when my phone buzzed. 11:03 a.m. Clara. You can come back to bed now. I stared at the message. 6 words. 6 words that confirmed everything I already knew. She thought I'd been waiting. She thought I'd been camping out somewhere, biding my time, ready to return the moment Ryan left. She thought I was still hers. I picked up my phone. I typed 4 words. I got a better one. I hit send. Then I blocked her number. 3 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. A text from Jenna, a mutual friend. Dude, Clara's freaking out. What happened? I didn't answer. I put my phone on silent and went back to my coffee. But blocking her number didn't stop the fallout. It just redirected it. Update 2. Within 2 hours of blocking Clara, my phone lit up like a fireworks show. Jenna texted first. Clara says you abandoned her. Is that true? I typed back. I moved out. She can pay her half of the rent. Marcus, a buddy from college, texted next. Bro, she's posting on Facebook that you ghosted her for no reason. What's going on? I opened Facebook. I rarely used it, but I kept the app installed for moments like this. Clara's post was at the top of my feed. Posted at 1:47 p.m. When someone you trusted just disappears without explanation, feeling lost. The comments were already piling up. Friends, co-workers, people I barely knew. You deserve better. Men are trash. Stay strong, girl. One comment from Clara's friend Sarah stood out. You deserve better. He was always emotionally unavailable. I screenshot the post. Then I went to my messages and found the conversation with Clara. I scrolled up to April 25th, 11:03 a.m., and screenshot her message. You can come back to bed now. I sent both screenshots to Jenna with one line. Context. Jenna replied 3 minutes later. Oh my God. Yeah. She kicked you out of your own bed for her ex? Yep. And she thought you'd just wait? Apparently. I'm sending this to Marcus. Go ahead. By 4 p.m., the tide had turned. People who'd seen the screenshots started commenting on Clara's Facebook post. Wait, didn't you have your ex staying over? Why would he need to explain leaving his own apartment? This is wild. He paid rent, and you made him sleep on the couch. Clara didn't respond to any of the comments. She just deleted the post at 6:15 p.m. But the damage was done. My phone buzzed all night. Friends asking for my side of the story. Co-workers who'd heard through the grapevine. Even Clara's cousin, a guy named Tim I'd met once at a family barbecue. Tim's message came at 8:30 p.m. Hey man, I heard what happened. Clara's version didn't make sense. Now I know why. I replied, appreciate it. One message came from someone I didn't expect. My mom. Clara texted me asking if you were okay. What's going on? I called her. Explained the situation. Told her about the couch, the pillow, the new apartment. My mom was quiet for a moment. Then she said, good. You don't owe her anything. I know. And if she contacts me again, I'll tell her to leave you alone. Thanks, Mom. I hung up and looked at my phone. 17 unread messages. Most of them from people I didn't care about. A few from people who mattered. I replied to the ones who mattered, ignored the rest. By midnight, I turned my phone off completely. I didn't need to see any more. I'd said what I needed to say. The receipts had done the rest. But Clara didn't take the exposure well. In fact, she doubled down. Update 2 days after the screenshots went public, Clara showed up at my office. It was a Friday afternoon, around 3 p.m. I was at my desk, reviewing code for a client project, when my desk phone rang. It was security downstairs. "Hey, there's a woman here asking for you. Says her name's Clara." I close my eyes. Tell her I'm unavailable. She's insisting. Says it's urgent. I sighed. "I'll come down." I took the elevator to the lobby. Clara was standing by the front desk, arms crossed, wearing a jacket I'd bought her for Christmas last year. Her face was tight, jaw clenched. Security, a guy named Dennis I'd talked to a few times, gave me a look that said, "You okay?" I nodded. "It's fine." Clara stepped forward. "We need to talk." "No, we don't. You owe me rent for this month. You signed the lease." I kept my voice calm, steady. "I paid my half through April. My lease ended April 30th. You want my rent? That's on you." Her face went red. "You can't just abandon a lease." I pulled out my phone, opened my email app, and found the message I'd saved. I turned the screen toward her. It was an email from our landlord, Mr. Patel. Sent April 19th at 9:42 a.m. Subject line: Lease amendment confirmation. The email read: Received notice of tenant departure. Lease amendment attached. Clara Martinez listed as sole tenant effective May 1st, 2024. Clara stared at the screen. Her mouth opened, then closed. You contacted the landlord?" "Day after I left. Paid my share through April. Sent him written notice. He amended the lease. You're solo now." She grabbed for my phone. I pulled it back. "You can't do this," she said. Her voice cracked. "I already did." Dennis stepped a little closer. Clara noticed. She took a step back, eyes darting between me and the security guard. "Don't contact me again," I said. "If you do, I'll file for harassment." Clara's hands balled into fists. For a moment, I thought she might actually swing. But she didn't. She just turned and walked out, heels clicking on the tile floor. Dennis watched her leave, then looked at me. "You good?" "Yeah, thanks." I went back upstairs, sat down at my desk, and took a breath. Then I forwarded the landlord's email to myself again, just in case. That night, at 11:47 p.m., I got a text from an unknown number. "You're a coward." I screenshot the message. Then I called the non-emergency police line. "I'd like to document a harassment attempt," I told the officer who answered. "What's the nature of the harassment?" "My ex-girlfriend showed up at my workplace today. I told her not to contact me again. She just texted me from an unknown number." "Do you have proof?" "Yes. Screenshots. Timestamps." "Okay. I'll make a note in the system. If it continues, you can file a formal report. Do you want a reference number?" "Yes." He gave me the number. I wrote it down on a Post-it note and stuck it to my monitor. Then I blocked the unknown number and went to bed. After that, the silence was louder than any argument. I didn't hear from Clara directly after the office confrontation, but I heard about her. 2 weeks later, Jenna texted me. "So Clara can't afford the rent alone. She's looking for a roommate." I didn't respond. I just kept the message unread for a while, then archived it. A week after that, Marcus sent me a screenshot. It was Clara's Instagram story. A photo of the apartment, the one we used to share. The caption read, "Room available. $900 per month plus utilities. DM for details." I stared at the screenshot. $900 a month. Half the rent, plus utilities. She was desperate. I didn't feel satisfaction. I didn't feel vindication. I just felt distant. Like I was looking at someone else's life through a window. Another week passed. Then Jenna texted again. Clara moved back in with her parents. She couldn't find anyone to cover the rent. I read the message twice. Then I put my phone down and went back to cooking dinner. A month later, I got one more update. This time from Tim, Clara's cousin. "Thought you'd want to know. Ryan ghosted Clara after everything blew up. She tried reaching out to him. He blocked her." I typed back, "Thanks for letting me know." Tim replied, "She's not doing great. But honestly, she brought it on herself." I didn't respond to that. There was nothing to say. I'd blocked Clara on everything by then. Instagram, Facebook, her number, even mutual friends who kept trying to mediate or get both sides of the story. I didn't need mediation. I didn't need to explain myself. I just needed to move forward. My new apartment was small. One room, a kitchenette, a bathroom with a shower that took 2 minutes to warm up. The bed was still that cheap mattress on a metal frame. But it was comfortable. Better than any night I'd spent wondering if I mattered. One evening in late June, I was scrolling through my phone when I saw a message request on Instagram. Clara's profile picture. The preview showed the first line, "Can we please talk?" I didn't open it. I just deleted the request. That was the last time I thought about her. 6 months after I walked out, I got a promotion at work. It wasn't a huge jump, just a step up from junior developer to mid-level. But it came with a raise. $8,000 more a year. Enough to breathe a little easier. Enough to upgrade. I used part of the raise to move into a better apartment. 2 bedrooms this time. One for me, one for a home office. The rent was $1,500 a month, but I could afford it now. And it had a dishwasher. A real one. That mattered more than I thought it would. The bed was different too. I ditched the cheap twin mattress and bought a king-sized memory foam. The kind you sink into after a long day and forget the world exists. It cost me $1,200, and it was worth every dollar. I met someone new in August. Her name was Emily, 26. She worked in marketing for a tech startup downtown. We matched on a dating app, went to coffee, then dinner, then a movie. She laughed at my terrible jokes. She asked questions and actually listened to the answers. And she never once mentioned an ex unless I asked first. We took things slow. No rushing into leases. No shared apartments. Just dinners and movies and long conversations that didn't make me feel like a placeholder. One night in October, Emily and I were lying in bed, her head resting on my chest, when she asked, "What's the story with your last relationship?" I thought about Clara, the couch, the pillow, the 17 blocked texts. She asked me to sleep on the couch so her ex could have the bed. I said. Emily lifted her head and stared at me. "You're joking." "Nope." "In your own apartment?" "Yep." "And she thought you'd actually do it?" "She didn't just think it. She expected it." Emily blinked. "What did you do?" "I left. Took my pillow and walked out. Signed a lease on a new place the next day." "Good," Emily said. She laid her head back down. "What happened after?" She texted me a week later. Said, "You can come back to bed now." Emily laughed. Not a small laugh. A full, genuine laugh that shook her shoulders. "She actually said that?" "Word for word." "What did you say?" "I got a better one." Emily looked around the bedroom. At the king-sized bed. At the clean sheets. At the nightstand with a lamp that actually worked. She smiled. "You weren't lying." I smiled back. "No, I wasn't." I never saw Clara again. I heard through Jenna, months later, that she'd moved to another city. Somewhere on the West Coast. Trying to start fresh. I didn't ask for details. I didn't care. She wasn't my problem anymore. She never really was. Some people think silence is weakness. They think walking away without a fight means you lost. They're wrong. Silence is knowing you don't owe anyone an explanation when they've already disrespected you. It's knowing that some battles aren't worth fighting because you've already won by leaving. I didn't need to yell. I didn't need to argue. I didn't need to prove my point in front of an audience. I just needed to pick up my pillow and walk out the door. And I did. The bed I sleep in now is mine. The apartment is mine. The life I'm building with Emily is mine. And none of it required revenge. None of it required confrontation. It just required me to value myself enough to leave when someone showed me I didn't matter. Clara taught me something important, even if she didn't mean to. She taught me that the people who love you don't make you sleep on the couch. They don't prioritize their exes over you. They don't expect you to wait around while they figure out what you're worth. And if they do, you don't owe them a second chance. You owe yourself a better life. I got one. And that's all the revenge I ever needed.